Hello and welcome to episode 182 of Nolo Time. My name is what's left of Ovid Villas, and with me is the most interesting man in the world, Joel Young.
He's he's back, guys.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm. I am. I am okay. I am okay. I did not get quarantined. Just in case you guys were
right,
wondering, it was quite the opposite.
right.
Let's say that the solution did not. I did not come out unscathed from the
Yes,
solution. So that's basically what happened.
it
Joel,
was
how
for
you?
it's for the greater good, but it
Yeah,
definitely got you on your way up.
absolutely for the greater good, but I still had to pay a price. Yeah, Joel, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, dude. Things are going great over here. I'm super hyped about this upcoming week and weekend, and looking forward to getting into plenty of gaming time. Been really busy as of late, and you and I both have been super busy, and we're both are gonna have some downtime. Our employers
Yeah,
very gracious to give us some time off upcoming, so we're gonna use that time to catch up on, I'm sure, plenty of personal stuff and plenty of games because I tell you, my backlog's getting crazy, dude. And this is the
yeah,
summer. This is the time to do it. So, and there's not that many new games this year that I need to go run out and do. So it's giving me plenty of time to go back. It's not that there's not good games, but there's not really on my list that are on my radar rather that I got to run out to get to.
yeah. I guess we'll find out in a couple of weeks when they do the whole E3 thing. But
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that there's not gonna be an Assassin's Creed this year, right? They said that there was not.
Yeah, I don't think there's supposed to be one, and there really shouldn't be. I mean, Valhalla is
Yeah.
just fine. They've added plenty of expansions to it. I'm still playing around on it. It's a good game.
Cool.
Why
Cool, man.
rush it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely. I gotta check out that E3 schedule again to
Yeah,
see
yeah. They updated it recently.
yeah, to see what we can plug in here and there. Maybe do something live and with a video react and see what's
Sure.
up. Cause yeah, it was unfortunate last year that we didn't get to do anything. But at least the year before we did get impressions and reveals. We got the reveals late last year. PS5 and stuff that we did live. So that
Cover
was
some
good.
console reveals. Big stuff.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It didn't happen in summer. That was the thing, right? It happened later in the summer, or kind of like almost fall, basically at
Yeah.
that point. Yeah, um, yeah. Good here. I do have a bunch of stuff that I want to talk about, man. So I platinum Spidey.
Wow.
Yeah,
First PS5 platinum.
yeah, yep. So very interestingly enough, they changed. You know how they changed the trophy sound when you unlock a
Yep.
trophy, you get a new sound. So the platinum has a unique sound to it as well. So it has a different sound than the regular boom sound that you get. PS4 it was the same. When you get a platinum, you get the same sound. But PS5 it makes like a chime and like kind of like stars. Like it's different.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. I wasn't expecting that. Um, yeah, because I realized when I finished the Silver Sable DLC, I went and checked the trophy list. Right, I had two trophies left on it, and one of them I was like standing on the spot where I can actually just unlock it, and I went ahead and unlocked it. Right, and then the other one I had to look up on the trophy list. It was a hidden trophy. And then it's like, man, the city is gigantic. I don't recall seeing this thing. I'm just gonna look it up online because it's one trophy. I'm not gonna whatever. So
Sure.
went and got it and bloop, and the platinum popped. So yeah, man, platinum Spidey, man.
That-
That's good.
wow.
That was
Look
good.
at you, man.
That's a good game, man. It's not a hard platinum. It's time consuming because there's a lot, right?
Those birds.
Those, yeah. Well, the thing that with
Never
that,
forget that.
I think the platinum with Miles is a lot more technical. Like you have to do a lot more technical stuff, more akin to the like Arkham City type of thing, right? The one this one's very straightforward. It's just that this game just does not stop. You keep getting stuff and stuff and stuff and padding everywhere. And that was my gripe with the game is that it had a lot of padding, and that was like my only downside to that game. Otherwise, it's fantastic. So I really had a great experience with it. Highly recommend it, man. Spidey's pretty good. Pretty good stuff.
Dope. Nice.
Yeah. So I played a little bit more Sekiro, and I advanced. I guess the whole like Bloodborne thing that I was doing actually paid off in Sekiro, where I can actually think more like don't play Sekiro like Devil May Cry, play it like Bloodborne, and that really paid off. So that's good. So it's great. I'm gonna keep playing that because that game's really really good. Um, and then I had a weird moment of FOMO last week, Joe, because I usually don't get like with the trend, right? It's like whatever, I'll do it, and it's fine. Um, but everyone seems to be talking about Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil Village. It's everywhere, right? Um, so I was like, man, it's like kind of missing out. So I started playing Resident Evil 7 because it was free on PS Plus.
Yes.
Yeah, that game's spooky, spooky, man. It's good. It's good.
Tickled your fancy? You liked it?
Yeah. So it's not. It's very different from the other Resident Evil games. Very very different because I mean, as right, and this could change, right? But just the setting, the atmosphere, and uh, it's just the enemies are very different. the the core mechanics are the same. Basically, it's a Resident Evil game through and through. Honestly, it's like it's Resident Evil in first person. So that's the big thing, right? It's the first person thing, the new perspective that you have on the game. Game looks real good. I'm playing it on the regular PS4. The good looks really really good. Runs really well. So yeah, so I'm good, and it's scary, and I think they really played it well when they went for the first person perspective, uh, because you do get your little jump scare here and there on say the Resident Evil 2 remake, right? Uh, but you're still very aware of your surroundings. You can move the camera, and you can still see your character and all this stuff. Here, you know, you have to move your character to move the camera because it's a first person game. So that's like the big thing. Um, uh, Good thing is that you can play with headphones. You get a lot of audio cues because you can hear a lot of stuff, and uh, you know even stuff that you're not really supposed to hear, because it's like, oh, I can hear an enemy spawning like in the background because the headphones. And but it's good, very good, very very good game, man. I don't know why I waited so long. I think it was the whole like first person thing was kind of intimidating to me
Mm.
for some reason. I don't know why, because I played two remake for I did my two full playthroughs on that. Did two full playthroughs on three, on the three remake. So I'm really not sure where the hesitation came from. Honestly, I think it probably came from me being first person, because I'm not super into first person games. Other than maybe like Bioshock, and even Battlefront. I play third person. Oh, I played Battlefront too on PS5 because I hadn't played it yet. So
It's good.
I did a couple of
Yeah.
rounds. Yeah, I did a couple of rounds on Team Deathmatch. Yeah, it was good. It was good. It's good.
Looking forward to the new one.
Yeah, yeah. There's rumors that it's gonna happen
Oh yeah.
probably like next year, because this year
Yep.
we're gonna get a Battlefield, so it's probably gonna
Yeah,
happen.
but next year will probably come out, and rumors are
Yeah,
Ahsoka's gonna be in it, very Mandalorian themed.
yeah.
So be cool.
Yep. Do you hear the rumor that the main baddie for Fallen Order 2 is gonna be Darth Maul?
No,
No.
that'd be
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. There's a rumor that Maul's gonna be
Ooh.
like the main antagonist on that one, because this game takes place like in between like
Oh, sure.
Clone Wars and Rebels, so it's kind of like in that timeline. So it fits. So yeah, man, that's pretty cool.
That'd be great.
Um, Two things I watched. I think two more episodes on Titans. Still okay. I'm still enjoying it. And watched the entirety of the final season of Castlevania. And honestly, hands down, this is probably the best. And I'm talking of the series as a whole. It's probably the best like video game adaptation thing ever. It's that good. Um, Sonic is good. It's a good movie. Good family movie. It's some would say it's great. I could say it's great. It's pretty good. I really enjoyed it. But this is like it's so good, bro. This last season was so good, and they did a really good job with like the cliffhangers at the end of the episode. And then it's like I just can't stop. I gotta watch what's going on. Fantastic character arcs. Um, they gave it what could possibly be the best ending, considering how dark and dire the what's going on in this show is. They probably honestly I don't know why they did it, right, because I wasn't expecting a happy ending, but this is like best ending tier stuff, like yay. So it was fantastic. It was good. It was like I wasn't, it's super dark. I wasn't expecting this ending, and I'm actually surprised. And it surprised me with it being so lighthearted. So it weird, but yeah, it worked. It actually worked. Um, Man, it's just so good. I don't want to spoil it because it's still new, and there's like everything's leading up to this, right? There's a proper boss fight on
Nice.
this one. Like there were boss fights before, right? But nothing tops the castle moment on the second season. That to me is still like the top. That's like the peak, right? But then this gets very close. And I think the reason that it was the peak is because of the music. They used music from the game, and that peaked it. This is close because it's as good. It just doesn't have the music, and it's like if it would have had the music, this would have been like over the peak. But um, very good. Like all the characters are great, and even by the end, you like Trevor, and Trevor's still like not a super happy go lucky guy, but uh, you like him. It's you end up liking him a lot, and Sypha was fantastic. Alucard was great. Alucard had a really good flipped because his part got super dark on the last season, but this one was like the opposite. It's like, the heck am I doing? I gotta flip this thing around. So, oh, so good, Joel. So good. I just 10 out of 10. I'm good. It was fantastic. So I'm very very happy to inform. They are working on Assassin's Creed next, allegedly.
No, I think it's confirmed.
Well, I heard something different today.
Oh, really? Okay.
I heard that they're going to be working on a Devil May Cry series. So it's very interesting. If they do DMC like they did this with the proper uh voice actors, yeah, man, that that would be top tier for sure. That I will be all for that, sir. All for that.
Yeah, I'm looking up here and I see that April was the last they spoke about it here on comicbook.com, and that they're saying the team from Castlevania is working on this anime, but I mean, who's to say? Like you're saying, maybe that's halted, maybe, and maybe they're putting this thing first that you're talking about. I don't. But yeah, that'd be pretty cool, dude, if that happens.
Yeah, yeah, very very interesting. Joel, can you give me 1 second? I will be right
Of
back. All right.
course. Yes, of course. Sorry, you want me to go ahead and carry on while
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
Yep,
Go
cool,
go
cool.
go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so a funny thing I left out on my WhatsApp was so I know you probably have done this before too. There's certain games that like you're not gonna play. Not that you'll never play it, but you're not like you're it's not on your list of go out and spend money to play because it's like it looks decent. So you're like, let me just go ahead and watch maybe some of the cinematics or the gameplay for it, because you're just not going to buy it. So I did that for Injustice 2 this last week, because I played the first Injustice Gods Among Us
Okay.
on PS3. I remember when that was a free PS Plus title. So that's when I played that one, but I never played the second one. So I was like, I considered buying it because I think it was only like 10 or $11 on
It's super
PSN.
cheap. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, nah, I don't need to buy this thing right now. So I just went ahead and watched the cinematics for it. And then I'm like, wow, this is really, really strong. Like, I actually can see where the Injustice storyline would come very well into whatever Zack Snyder wants to do with the future of the Justice League. And then like it's so funny. I think it was yesterday or the day before, but basically this week, breaking news was that they're working on an
Yeah.
Injustice animated movie for DC.
Yeah.
So I'm super stoked for that because I'm like the timing. I literally this like week last week watched the full cinematics. Would actually very much recommend it, dude. It's solid for that second game.
Yeah.
But you played the first one maybe,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
PS3 back
Yeah.
then.
PS3. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have it on. I actually was able to grab it when it came out
Oh, cool.
free on PS4 too, because they released it on PS4 as well. So I was able to grab. I have both, like 'cause they're
Okay.
both for free.
Why not?
Yeah. Yeah. That first one was really good. Like the story on it was pretty
Yeah.
good. Interesting. Cool. Yeah. I saw that too. We didn't have it in the docket, but do you think that Discovery AT&T merger is gonna? Because there's
That's
talks
big.
again. Yeah. And there's talks again about them offshooting the game studio, the WB Games. So
It's very well possible. It's
yeah,
also possible that maybe the Snyderverse really can be restored now that there's a new CEO in town. Cause I don't know, man.
yeah. And the thing, and Snyder's been doing interviews, like proper
Yeah.
interviews.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He's not holding back. And the
yeah,
new CEO, because it's the CEO of Discovery now is taking over as the Warner CEO now,
yeah,
which is pretty huge.
yeah,
So he like name dropped in his top 10 like franchises or whatever. He name dropped the Trinity, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman
yeah,
in his remarks during the merger. So
yeah, yeah. And well, I mean, I gotta say, it's like people, he really struck that because it's like people love Guy Fieri. I'm gonna give you more Guy Fieri.
it's
People,
true. It's
people,
true.
people love like the Gaines, like Chip and Joanna. Get
I love it.
more, yeah,
Yeah.
get more, yeah. So basically, that's how Discovery has been operating for the last, I want to say, like since they acquired Trips Network, and that was what 2013, 14 maybe. So for the last 5 years or so, that's how they've been operating. It's like, you like
They've
this,
been good.
I'm gonna give you more. Yeah, and that's basically what they've been doing. So if they bring that type of mentality to Warner, then again, Zack Snyder doing things with like Vanity Fair and stuff now. I don't know, man.
The October event is going to be very telling.
Yeah, yeah, man. Also, before we jump in the Bad Batch, Dave Filoni moving on up. What is it? It's the executive creative director.
Executive creative director.
Yep,
Yep. Executive producer and executive creative director.
yep. So to me, that spells, look at me, I am the captain now when it comes to uh, making the creative decisions and what goes forward story wise when it comes to Star Wars. So we did it, Joe. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like usually like this is the kind of stuff where I'd be like, like let's not read between the lines. I've been, whatever. But like the reality is Kathleen's contract comes to an end at the end of this year. Yes, we know that Bob Chapek said that, we want her around for years, and he made that statement in front of the shareholders, right? But like you said, when you see this specific title, being put up for Filoni, it does kind of ring the bell of like, even if this person is technically the president of the company, like he's clearly when it comes to any creative decision of Lucasfilm, like clearly he's the guy who calls the shots there, and that's good. That's great. I mean, that's what we wanted. Like, yes, I think John Favreau is a great storyteller as well. I think he's a great, director, producer, all that stuff. But Dave is George Lucas 2.0. Like, I mean, this guy
It's
literally
protege.
was raised like out of the crib by George, basically. I mean, see, he understands the way George thinks, and he understands like the way George wanted things to go,
Yep.
and he also understands new Star Wars too because he's creating new stuff. He's not trying to recreate the old stuff, but he respects it. So yeah, this is great news to see that title change. I don't want to read into the Kathleen Kennedy's gone. Like that doesn't mean that. It can mean that.
I'm gonna check that
Don't
right now, sir. Give me
yeah,
1 second.
no, because that's the thing. Like, so like you go on there and like people make fun of Star Wars YouTubers all the time because that's the first thing that they all say is like Kathleen's gone, Kathleen's gone. It's like, guys, until like literally Disney themselves come out and say she is no longer here, you can't just look at a job title and say that now somebody like is it leading on? Absolutely. I think that you're fair to make an assumption that there's clearly some traction going on in the business, but don't
So
don't proclaim it until it happens, guys.
so based on this one individual from YouTube, infamous, I would say, um, he hasn't reported on that yet. The last video he put out was the Brie Larson Mara Jade rumors that were going around. That came out from a reputable source, if I'm not wrong, right, Joel?
I had heard about that, but even I didn't believe it when I saw it. Like
Yeah.
that just doesn't something about it didn't seem right. And I know that she was one of the people that was in consideration for Ahsoka. Like that we know is a thing. Like they literally, like Filoni and John, like they literally talked to her about it. But at the end, they were like, no, we want someone who had a more a different kind of appearance here, and having Rosario Dawson play the role just made sense to them. But yes, Brie Larson has had conversations with them, but Mara Jade, like I don't know, don't that sound a little bit too far to me.
Yeah. So a week ago, there's a video of Kathleen Kennedy preparing to quit from Lucasfilm, and then like a few days later, canceling the High Republic. I think the High Republic did really not good. Um,
Yeah,
I think that really, I haven't heard anything about it, dude.
yeah.
Honestly, after
The
it came
fans,
out.
the fans don't like it.
Yeah, yeah.
I get it. It's fair.
And that's what matters, right? At the end of the day, is fans are the ones that need to
Yeah,
like it, because they're the ones that
yeah.
they're gonna
I
buy
don't
your
think they
product.
liked it
So
before it was even just announced. Just when it was just announced, just based on the controversy that you and I have discussed
yeah,
beforehand. That's surrounding it. So that didn't help from the get go. And then the product itself,
The
there's a few little.
Rock.
I started hearing some stuff about like the whole idea of Jedi's having relationships. There was some very odd things that
Yeah,
they tried to get into on in there, and
like, yo, this is not canon
yeah,
at all. Because why
yeah,
are you doing this? Yeah,
yeah,
it was weird.
not good, not good.
How about we make that Legends and we bring back Shadows of the Empire,
No brainer.
or the Force Awakens? No, sorry, the Force Unleashed.
Oh my gosh, I
Yeah,
love the Force Unleashed, dude.
yeah, make the Force Unleashed canon again. Hashtag release the Force Unleashed cut. But yeah, Bad Batch. Not as strong as that first episode. That first episode was real good. Um, we may go into spoilers, so just be warned, just in case. But you nailed it, right? From the get go that they were going to see the clone and the Twi'lek that got that I think Five stuck to them back in the Clone Wars. One of them,
Right.
right? Or
He
Rex.
defected from the group,
Correct. Yeah.
went into hiding.
Yep. So you called that one. That was pretty good. We got basically them trying to escape the Empire. The Empire is now like in essence like tagging people. Like, oh, you need to, if you don't have your tag, you can't go anywhere in the galaxy. And then that comes again. They bring it up during Mando too. It's like, hey, your chip's not tagged. It was like, dude, this is like pre-Empire. I didn't tag it, so I'm good. So we had a little bit of that. Last episode felt a little bit fillery to me. It was still good, right? Because you still had adventures and hijinks and whatnot. But it felt a little bit fillery. It was good.
I agree.
It didn't, you know. Um, I think the most important thing you can take out of that episode is that the rest of the crew, and not only Hunter, is now I guess embracing Omega with him. So that was like the big thing. Like she's part of the crew now, whereas before she was a kid that Hunter was trying to find a place for her, and now she's like part of the crew. So I think that was the biggest like takeaway from that last episode. And then tomorrow we'll see what we get. I'm still very excited. It's again in what 12 episode you said it was.
Yeah, I think it's no, I think it's 16, I think.
16.
I think
Well, yeah,
16,
we,
yeah.
we still have time for this thing to grow, right? and
Yeah, this thing's
and
gonna
go
go till
places.
August.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna quit on it now. I mean, certainly we didn't quit through the last season of the middle of the last season of Clone Wars. That was a little bit rough there too. So
The Salt Girls.
the Salt Girls, Salt Girls. Yeah, I mean that was a little bit pointless there, but I know that they, somehow
Or
they
the
they
Spice, the Spice,
yeah,
Spice
that
Girls.
they were the Spice Girls. They were a vehicle to bring Ahsoka back. Just leave it. That was their purpose. Yeah. So we good.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It was not as strong that episode three as the other ones, but um, like it's funny. I feel like they definitely learned from like some of the complaints about Rebels, where like you got those space pigs and space whales. Yeah, little space pigs, space whales with this, orca or whatever the name of the creature was that they could dump into. Interesting, that creature is actually based out of Old Republic books, so that was a fun little
Cool.
tag in there. So it's an old creature; it's been around for a while. Also, fun callback to Empire Strikes Back. Cool little setup and explanation behind the whole dark troopers. That we see that are in Rogue One. Where we start to see the beginning phases instead of this clone group 99 or whatever. Like now you have this new anti bad batch that's been created to come against them. um there's a lot of little things. Thrawn, it's not Thrawn's, his me Tarkin. Is his ranking changes between the last episode and this one. He actually becomes the Grand Admiral, where he was just an admiral before. Like there's a lot of consistencies from timeline perspectives that like I just love the attention to detail with these huge characters. I did not expect Tarkin to be around this long. Like I totally thought that he was like one thing in that first episode be
Oh
awesome.
yeah, I
And I'm
see.
like, dude, Tarkin's like that's a big character to have him around. Now you start to see that transition now where he's like, hey, like I'm out, because I'm like, there's no way the boss is gonna be around this long. Like he's got things
No,
to do.
no, he's probably gonna start
So
delegating.
it's hard to, yeah, and then just when you see him leave, leaves this new, admiral in charge of this clone program. But interesting when they start talking about the whole that they need more blood samples, and they need more to create more clones. Are running out of enough of the DNA samples to create more of the clones.
Yeah, that was
there's
interesting.
there's some different theories behind that. I'm still trying to wrap my head around. I hope they get into that a little bit deeper. I guess there's some of the things I've heard. I guess like in some of these books as well. There's like Lost Stars or something like that. I saw something with it where it's like they talk about how there's other. They use a terminology, other ways, right, of getting it. Like there are other beings that they take in the end in a testing attempt to make more clones. Obviously, it fails because then you get the whole idea of the first order, right? That when the first order rises, that they just take regular humans. So you're getting that
Yeah.
transitional period that just didn't work anymore,
Yeah.
and we're
Well,
finally going to get that explanation behind everything.
yeah. I mean, by the time of the New Hope comes around,
Yeah.
clones are no longer in use. Basically, whatever's left is the Death Troopers, because the
Right.
Death Troopers they keep going, um, but basically like the regular stormtroopers, they're all like recruited. They're not clones. So yeah, that should be interesting if they actually explore the transition more in detail. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, because right now, right, all the clones are being, you know, like they changed when Order 66 was executed. They,
Yeah.
they're not they don't have a personality anymore. It was they get their programming, so it would be interesting to see if somehow how some of the clones start malfunctioning too, because we know that was a problem in canon where the Empire was pushed into recruiting because some of the clones started malfunctioning because of Order 66. So
Right, and
yeah.
that was one of the cool also Rogue One tie-in reveals like in there when Project War Mantle like is described. Now we finally understand that Project War Mantle, which was the like unknown project that was seen in Rogue One, we finally find out Project War Mantle is actually the whole idea of a non-clone army. So that's actually what that project was. So it's cool little answers to these questions tying it all together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess and on this show, at least so far, right? Other than the first episode, that was excellent.
Oh my
I
goodness.
guess that the devil's in the details, and that's one of those things. So yeah, it's gonna be good. I still have high hopes for the show. Because that first episode really proved it, that there's really meat to cut there, and really good stuff to serve to the audience. I'm actually kind of hungry, so I'm thinking about food. So yeah, it should be interesting the rest of the season.
Hey, we at least we got some Star Wars content this year.
Yeah,
I know we'll get a second thing later on in the year. Loki's coming up very soon,
yeah, I'm
so
excited for Loki.
yeah, man.
Yeah, um, yeah. Rumors for Spidey keep piling up, and we've
Oh, I
already
know.
talked about them. I mean, at this point, yes, I do believe Joe, but I'm being cautious with my emotions just in case, right? But there's stuff out there that really like it's proving that there's big things happening, and this movie is going to not only set up the future of the MCU and the next Doctor Strange movie, but another thing separate from the MCU. So
Which Sony's been wanting to do for a while, anyways. Understanding the finances of it, right? Because they don't have to do that. If they make another set of a Spider Verse stuff that they can do out of the success that they already have with Tom Holland Spider Man, like then it benefits Sony financially because they don't have to split the money on those films.
yeah, exactly.
Kind of like how Venom and these other ones are gonna do.
Yeah,
Same thing.
and based on how fast they're moving, considering that uh, Far From Home has been in production, what, not even a year, right? That
Yeah.
movie, that they really are fast. Well, I mean, they're probably just doing VFX shots, which is what takes longer. So they've probably been doing that for a long, long time, and then get the actors together, get their scenes, and edit. That's basically what it is. So whatever rhythm they have going on, it's it's freaking working because it's uh they're being very very efficient at putting these movies out. So
I'm
uh
sure Sony has all hands on deck right now trying to get that movie out perfect.
yep, and whatever comes next, I think.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think Morbius is gonna set up part of that.
Hmm.
So we'll have to keep an eye on Morbius. So we'll see. Um, Still not a lot happening. Interestingly, other than the what's ups and the whatnots.
You
Um,
want to talk about Venom? I mean, it's a good transition.
yeah. You know what? Yeah. That's definitely a good transition. So we did get finally a trailer for Venom. I think it looked like crap. I'm
I,
being
lo- I
honest.
love that he just went right there.
I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Sony
No,
is
I actually
not.
agree with you on that.
Sony is not. They do not have a Zack Snyder cutting trailers clearly, because Zack Snyder can cut a freaking trailer. Sony is like, I don't know who's cutting these trailers at Sony, bro, but it was bad.
Yeah.
The original Venom had the same problem,
Had same problem.
same exact problem, where the trailers were like, ooh, I'm not feeling this. I bought the Blu-ray for $5 on a Black Friday, and I was pleasantly surprised with how much I enjoyed that movie. So, I mean, it could still be good. It's just that the trailers, it's
Didn't do it.
it's dog dookie. Yeah,
No, I completely agree with you. Like the whole scene of him like in his house and he's like trying to eat and that was so awkward. Like they that was one of the scenes that I wasn't crazy about in the first movie anyways. That's more of a hygienic thing for me though, because that was a nightmare, dude. So when that dude started diving into the trash, I was spazzing out. You know me, Obid, you know me.
yeah.
Um, so now seeing like him just sitting there and just grabbing at everything, I was like, oh gosh, please don't do this again.
Singing.
Yeah, singing, yeah. But like Carnage being in it, you gotta have something more than that. Like you can't just have this setup for this fight between the Venom and the Carnage. You need to have some more levity
Well,
to it. So I don't,
yeah.
and they're saying Tom Holland's not in this movie.
Mm-mm.
I'm not sold on that either. These are the same people telling you that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield aren't in movies.
Well,
I
um,
think that I'm not saying that this man's in this movie like for much, but
there's
there's got to be
three
something, man.
there's three really big details on this movie that are loud, that are very very loud. The first one, it's the one, the more obvious one, is that Shriek is in the movie. And if Shriek is in the movie, that means that they are planning on either maximum carnaging this thing, either now or in the future, right? So
Yeah.
known associates of Carnage, Shriek, Doppelganger, uh, you know, Hobgoblin. So whatever they're doing something. The second detail is Cletus Cassidy squashing a spider during one of the scenes. That's pretty obvious, right? Second one, the Daily Bugle that the
Yeah.
dude is reading is the same logo as the Maguire movies.
Yep.
Same
And
Daily Bugle.
they actually do have the Avengers is on that
It,
actual newspaper.
and
Yeah.
there's an Avengers article in the newspaper.
Yep.
Something's happening. Something's
Yep.
happening. So
And there's a reason that this movie is coming out before that one does
I
in
wouldn't be
December.
shocked.
Why would you not delay it? There's a point, dude. It's getting hot in
It's
here.
getting hot. It's getting shreddy.
By the way, for those of you that it's been a while since we've described what that actually means. When we say sweaty nerd guys, like this is like a term that was like gotten created by John Schnepp years ago, the guy who made Death Superman Lives. And it's all because he went to Comic-Con one year and he's like, nerds, sweaty nerds everywhere. Because sometimes as nerds, we get very excited. And when we get excited, we begin to sweat. So it's just, out of our excitement. So
It only took us like 3.5 years to explain.
yes.
So,
Carry on. Sorry.
well, 4 years or however long it's been. Something's gonna happen.
Oh, absolutely.
Something's gonna happen. this gotta be something there, man. So I mean, but yeah, I mean, Carnage looks okay. Venom looks the same. It's fine. He
What do you
looks
think of
fine.
Woody Harrelson playing that part? Like, and we knew it before him, but
I like it. I like
okay.
it. I like it. I like Woody Harrelson. You know,
I mean, he can play a crazy guy.
he can play exactly, and that's the thing with Carnage, right? He's out of control. So, uh, I think he's good because a lot of people can play a crazy guy, right? Jack Nicholson plays the best crazy guy,
Yeah.
and we won an Academy Award for it, or pretending to be one, or whatever it was. Um, I I think what makes him different is that he doesn't take himself too serious, and that really helps this sort of like crazy guy character. Um, I like that they changed his hair because his hair was weird on the post credit on the first
I mean,
Venom.
actually,
So
comic book accurate, but that just
yeah,
did not look good.
it just didn't look exactly. So that's the thing. That's why costumes change and all this stuff because it's like just because it's comic book accurate doesn't mean that it's going to translate well when it goes on
Exactly.
the screen. So yeah, they changed his hair. That's fine. Uh, Carnage looks like Red Venom. That's all fine. Yeah, the thing with Shriek, there has to be something more there. The thing, yeah, we're reading between the lines, but it points as to this movie or Venom could be connected to the next Spider-Man movie. So we'll see.
There's seeds. There's
There's
seeds.
seeds, definitely. The trailer itself, poop. I didn't like it.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
But like, think about it, Obed. Like the Morbius trailer. You remember not Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man
Yes.
had his picture
Yep.
was in vividly. Tobey Maguire's was
Yep.
in the Morbius. There's something going on here, dude.
Yeah, there's something.
Why would you pick that one? You could like
And
that's
not, it's not the Holland
right.
Spidey.
Not
It's
Holland
that. It's
Spidey. Not a
specifically.
generic art spot. It is Tobey Maguire.
And Morbius plays a big part in Maximum Carnage.
Right. Yeah.
Mmm. Mmm. Yo.
Stuff is cooking, and as a
Ye-
Spider-Man fan, you know that
ye-
I'm connecting on
oh,
everything.
man. Oh, Joel. Oh, boy. All right.
It's gonna get crazy, dude.
We're
And it's
getting
Christmas
there
for me. It literally comes out on
on
Christmas.
Christmas, dude.
Do you know how happy this man's gonna be? And you better not. They better not mess that movie up. If that movie's,
Mm.
I gotta keep my expectations in check, dude. That's all I'm saying.
How long is this movie? It's like
I
better.
know, right? You're gonna pack a lot of stuff in there.
Better be like 3 hours long, dude. Honestly,
Could be.
yeah. I would hate to take my daughter to a movie theater to do a 3 hour movie. She loves Spider Man, but I don't know if she's gonna last through
Dad,
that.
when does it end, Dad?
Yeah, basically, that's how it is with every movie,
Give me more
Joel.
popcorn, Dad.
With every movie. When does it end? It just started 10 minutes ago. Yeah. So I will definitely go see it. I will not miss it. I will not miss it. I will go out of my way to actually go to the movie theater and watch it because if it's what we know, right?
Right.
So yeah, man, it's gonna be a big one. So I'm really really excited, really excited. Uh, Venom, uh,
Yeah, I
give
agree
or
with you. I
take,
agree with
because the
you.
trailer did nothing for me.
We'll have to
And
see how the movie is, but the trailer's not good.
yeah, and again, we go back to Sony not being good at their trailers. Didn't they mess up? Yeah, dude, the Garfield movies, those trailers were terrible.
Well, they gave too many trailers, is what happened with that
Oh
movie. They
my
started putting clips
god,
out. Oh, you could see like a half an hour of the movie early, and like
bro,
it was way
yeah.
too much. They spoiled scenes, like they spoiled people's
The
deaths and
ending of
everything.
the
Yeah, dude,
movie,
the whole thing.
the
This the
end,
rhino scene. I mean, everything. Like there was no point in seeing that
the
movie. It
end
was terrible.
shot, the end sequence
Hmm.
of the movie.
Yep.
It's in the trailer.
Yep. You get the Times Square scene. Remember they put that out like on primetime television. They put the Times Square scene with Electro in it. All these scenes, like they just started putting them out
It's
on the
so
internet. It's like,
yeah,
what of this movie have I not seen? It got delayed, I think, or so. It was terrible.
yeah.
But I think the only the only like marketing that they can do, which is not really them because it's in conjunction with them, right? It's MGM's involvement is literally the James Bond films.
Oh yeah, yep, yep. Did you see that Amazon's it's in the talks
Yeah,
to buy MGM?
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
That'd be something.
yeah, definitely. Um, there's a GI Joe movie coming out out of nowhere. I didn't even know this thing was coming out. So there's a Snake
Yeah,
Eyes spin-off movie coming out. Um, looks okay. They only gave us like a 1 minute trailer, which is odd.
yeah.
But it looks fine.
Were you a GI Joe guy, Obed?
I was
Like a
not.
no?
I
Okay.
was a Masters of the Universe kid.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, I was more He-Man. Oh, you see the
I was
Kevin
gonna
Smith
say
He-Man?
that.
Yeah, that
That
looks
looks
good.
incredible,
That
dude.
looks good, bro. I'm excited for
I
that.
can't believe that they're doing this thing,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I was a He-Man kid.
He-Man and
You know what's really crazy, right?
She-Ra.
Yeah. What's really crazy to me, right, is that I was a a He-Man kid. Then I was a Mazinger Z kid. And for some reason, dude, I was never a Transformers kid. Like I went from Mazinger
Wow.
to Robotech, and that was like my thing, dude. I
Wow. Okay.
loved Robotech. Slash Macross, and we talked about it a couple weeks ago how
Yeah.
much I love Macross. So, but I love Robotech. It's like that was my thing, and then it was like mechs, like every Voltron and all this other things, and I, by the time Power Rangers came out, I was too old, so I was like, I'm not gonna buy a Megazord, but I freaking love this crap. It's like, but yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So, I was an X. I was what, 12, 13 or whatever when the original Power Rangers came out. So I was like, I'm not gonna buy me a
Dude, they
Megazord.
don't make stuff like
It's
this
like,
anymore.
yeah, man.
That was
So
such an era like of time. It's incredible.
yeah. So for some reason, I had a Wheeljack because he was like my favorite Transformer. So I had a Wheeljack, and that was basically it. It was
Hmm.
weird. It was weird. But yeah, I was more of a He-Man kid when growing up. Yeah, yeah.
So here's my thing with this trailer, right? Like you said, we don't really get to see much, but we do get one particular scene that I instantly went, time out. So this is the whole shtick with Snake Eyes is that he literally creates an oath of silence. Am I right? From when he's a kid.
Yeah.
That so he
He's
literally he
speaking.
speaks
I
like a
saw
straight
it.
line, and I was like,
I think
isn't
in
he supposed to like?
I think in the movies, the other movies, he gets like injured, like his throat gets cut, and
No,
it severed like his vocal cords or something.
I thought he made a vow of silence.
I don't remember. I don't.
I'm fact checking this right now
Oh, okay, okay.
because I can't remember.
I can't remember the movie. That I watched those movies one time each because I am not a big GI Joe fan.
Oh, okay. So you're on to something. Okay, but
Okay,
in the live action G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra, Snake Eyes does not speak due to a vow of silence. In the comics, he does not speak due to a horrific accident that also
okay,
scarred his face.
yeah.
Okay, but when does this happen? Is he a kid or is
No,
he
it happened. It happened when he was already trained.
okay?
Yeah,
So then we'll probably see that happen in this movie.
probably.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that I just again, I'm not the GI Joe guy, which is why I was asking you if you were
Okay.
the GI Joe guy. I've always thought
I
it would
know
be cool just
enough. Yeah.
purely as a yeah,
Yeah.
you were right on. No,
Yeah.
I was because I don't know. I don't know that they would ever do this, but I always thought like how cool because it's Hasbro, right? Like Hasbro's
Yeah.
got these properties. Why would they not ever have a crossover with Transformers? Like, why would they not have a GI Joe Transformers thing?
So
There should be an automatic. You've got the MCU and the DCEU. Why not bring these worlds
so
together,
a
make an
couple
epic film?
so a couple of years ago there were rumors that was going to have their cinematic universe and it's going to be like Transformers, um, G.I. Joe, of course. And then I don't know if you remember of seeing Mask. It was basically like cars that transform or have like hidden wings and all this crap and all like and the guys that drive the cars wear masks to hide their identity or and each mask has their own like ability. So look it up. It's really good. I was really into Mask. Like after my
Okay.
Meg thing, I remember having a bunch of Mask stuff because it was really really good. The show was really good, and I think the toys for the
I
era,
found it.
yeah, I think the toys for the era were probably the best toys out there in like any line, dude. It was phenomenal.
Wow.
So, so there was rumor that they were going to bring all those universes together into like their own cinematic thing, like G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Mask. So, but I don't think it ever went anywhere. But they
That
should.
makes no
They should.
sense. Like, you know how much money these people would make? They've never
Yeah.
tapped into that
And
stuff.
it's crazy because you're not even back in the cartoons where you would get crossovers every once in a while. It wasn't too common back then. Even back then, they would not. They ha-
Crossovers, I don't feel like really were much of a thing until more recently. Am I right? Like, there's
um
been crossovers, but it didn't
yeah.
get the popularity it does now.
So I know that back in the day in anime and the Sentai stuff, uh, there was a lot of crossovers like the Spider-Man and then you got the um, Mazinger crossing over with like Grandizer and all this stuff, right? And Devilman and Mazinger and all this stuff. So there was a lot of crossovers back then. It wasn't too common in like U.S. media, I guess.
Hmm.
I think honestly, dude, Scooby Doo,
Yeah.
where they did the
Yeah.
crossover with like Super Friends.
Yep.
Yeah, that was those they were like the pioneers. Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah, probably Scooby Doo. Scooby Doo is probably the master of crossovers. But then I remember, I don't know if you've ever seen. There was a PSA. Uh, there was a full like PSA movie. They did in the early '90s. It was like a drug, like an anti-drug PSA. I'm gonna look up the title.
Sure.
See.
And that's the one, of course, they have crossovers, of course, because they want everybody to come together and tell you not to do your drugs. Man, I just feel like it's a missed opportunity. Like,
It
you
was
own these properties.
it was called Cartoon All Stars to the Rescue. And check out this crossover. There has never been a more ambitious crossover up until you know probably Infinity War, if you ask me. Um, all right. Hold on to your hold on to your butts. Here you go. If you're not familiar with this thing, Alf, Alvin and the Chipmunks, classic Disney cartoon comics. Basically Ducktales. So Huey,
Wow.
Dewey, and Louie,
Disney let this stuff happen?
Garfield, Bugs Bunny, and Daffy Duck, Muppet
Bugs
Babies.
Bunny with.
Yeah, Muppet Babies, Winnie the Pooh, Real Ghostbusters, Smurfs, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay, I need to watch this.
Yep, it's a PSA. It has like
What is it called?
a cartoon all stars to the rescue. It
Cartoon All
yeah, it
Stars.
has like a George H.W. Bush thing at the beginning of the episode because this was like a
Oh,
government thing,
yeah,
like
yeah,
government
yeah.
funded, right? And all these companies
Oh
came
my
together,
goodness.
and it was released. And
Crazy.
it was released, Joel. Check this out. When it came out, I remember when it came out, it was on every network at the same time. Like ABC, NBC,
Wow.
USA, it was on like a Saturday morning. Came out April 21st,
I see
1990.
they got the whole thing here on YouTube.
Yeah, because it's a PSA.
1990.
Yep.
I don't know how I'd never.
Bro, watch it.
Maybe I'm just forgetting or
it's
something, but
it's
wow.
interesting. Like this kid gets
Just to
high
know
on
that
like
they put.
a mushroom or something. It's weird. He gets so high that he gets to see Mickey Mouse with the Smurfs and freaking Muppet Babies, bro. And it's like these kids like tripping. I mean,
Wouldn't that make kids more want to do the trick?
It's-
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not advocating for this. I'm just saying. Would that
oh my god.
wait, if I have the mushroom mommy, I get to see Bugs Bunny? Oh my god.
That was me last a few years ago when I was on Percocet for my back. I was like,
You saw
yeah,
you saw Winnie the
I
Pooh
saw
and
Kermit the Frog, bro, and it was crazy. Yeah, man.
oh my gosh.
And Alf, freaking Alf, dude, had already been canceled by the
With
time.
kids, like what are they doing?
So, very interesting. Wow, it was sponsored
Oh
by
my gosh.
McDonald's and Chuck E. Cheese,
Literally everyone.
and then everyone has a piece of the copyright, like Disney,
Oh
Warner,
my
Jim Henson
gosh.
Productions. Yeah, it's nuts, dude. It's the most ambitious crossover. So after that came out,
That is definitely the biggest crossover of all time, for sure.
the most ambitious,
Absolutely.
until Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah.
The X-Men vs. Street Fighter happened a couple years later. Yeah, man, it's nuts. They should. Yeah, Hasbro should definitely have their own cinematic universe and do their own thing, man.
A no
They
brainer.
they have the capacity.
They're also calling this Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins,
The
which
original
makes me
origins.
feel a little Wolverine Origins right there. When you see a title like that, it's like,
Yeah,
oh, see what you're doing.
yeah, yeah.
Give me the crossover is all I'm saying.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if this thing does good, if they probably do another GI Joe thing, I'm still waiting for more news on the next Transformers, man. Because, like,
Yeah.
give me War for Cybertron. Come on, give it to me right now. There you go. Not Bayformers. I don't want Bayformers. I want a
No,
mix, right?
get
I like the big
Michael Bay.
explosions and all that, but give me character development.
You don't need Michael Bay for that, guys. Come on.
No, no, you don't need him.
Travis Knight was just fine with that
He's
last one.
he's done. He's done. Michael Bay's done with Transformers. They don't want him there
Is he?
anymore. Oh yeah.
I think I think they're done with him, but is he done?
Oh, man! Wow, Michael
Yeah,
Bay.
Michael.
Um, things of note in the gaming space, we finally get new colors on the DualSense. So I was correct when I said it's like I'm gonna wait it out to buy another DualSense because that black one looks sick, all black, love it. The red one looks very appealing too, very very nice.
I want both.
I really do too, man. They look very nice. But I think the all black that really talks to me. I like the all black aesthetic. Um,
You had also a white dual shock when you had for your PS4, right?
yeah,
Like me? Because you
I have a white black and one of the black standard white and a midnight blue.
yeah, because that's the funny thing. It's like I feel like it's reversed. Like I first got like my regular PS4 black controllers, and then I bought my white. So it's like this is reversed. You get everything in white. Now you got to buy your black. That's
Yeah, they come out in June. I can't remember the specific date on it. I'm
you
looking.
got plenty of those things in stock when they drop them, though.
Oh yeah, yeah, because they're still like dual senses everywhere.
But not the console.
So if I go pre-order June 11th, they're up for pre-order on the Sony site right now. So I'm gonna see if I can actually grab one of these guys and grab the charging station.
Oh yeah, it's worth this charge station.
Yeah. So just to see if I can get that charging station. I saw it at GameStop. Yeah, it looks like it's out of stock on the Sony site right now.
Oh, whenever they do their next
Drops.
direct today,
They
yeah,
did a drop today.
they'll
Yeah.
be there. Yeah.
Yeah, they did a drop today. So, yeah, GameStop has it, right?
Oh, cool.
Looks like it. Let's see.
They should be.
Yeah,
I think
add
all
to cart.
retailers are gonna have.
Yeah, GameStop
There you
has it
go.
right now, like available to order.
Stonks.
Yeah,
Stonks are working.
Game stonks. Yeah. So yeah, that's cool. That's not much to say there. So
Yeah.
it's a pretty cool thing. PlayStation. Um, apparently or allegedly, they are working on 25 first party titles that, of course, are going to be PlayStation 5 exclusives. Half of them are supposed to be new IPs. So I'm, taking the IP, the taking those new IPs that we don't know they're gonna be, right? If we take them out, we're left with, of course, God of War, of course, Horizon, of course, Spider Man, because that's gonna be like the Sony Trinity right there.
Oh, for sure.
Um, Gran Turismo, that hasn't come out yet. That got delayed.
It's
Um,
a remake though. So, yeah.
what else? Honestly, dude, I don't know the Last of Us remake. If they do that, I don't think so. I don't
Well, now
think.
they're now you see that with them patching Last of Us 2 for PS5. You
Yeah,
saw that?
yep. They're adding performance mode for
That's
PS5.
good.
Yeah, yeah. Um, interesting because that's a lot of games. 25 exclusives. That's a lot of games.
Half are new, entirely new, allegedly, right? And then the
Correct.
other half are just continuing franchises.
Correct. Um, I mean, I wonder if they're talking about the collaboration things that they're doing with other studios. Like we've heard the rumors about Konami, and we know where Konami stands, but we've seen Konami kind of like, hey, I'm gonna do this kind of thing. That game that they put out for the Switch, that's a Switch exclusive, supposed to be really good, man. So, based on the rumors that are out there, that there's a Silent Hill game, there's a couple Metal Gear games. Um, there's rumors that they may revive even Castlevania because of the TV show's popularity. Um, I don't know. That's a lot of games, Joel. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. I think the approach of the 50-50, the half new, half returning is a great approach because then like you're not just killing off like everything must be new, by just trying to just go into a new generation without like leaning on some of the great staples that they have behind, not forgetting those, but at the same time not leaning so much on like, hey guys, not like the competition doing, hey, we got another Halo for you, like they're doing something new, right?
Yeah,
But they're not doing it. They're balancing it out. Is my point. You get my point. But
yeah,
yeah, hopefully there's they don't rush with all these titles. I mean, we see right now, at least from the beginning, they're not. So I hope that they continue kind of on that same pattern of giving us good quality games. Delay the game if you need to. If it's not ready yet, do what you gotta do because this console's really hot on the market. People are still trying to get their hands on it, and I'm sure that in due time, people are gonna be really happy when they can play their next gen God of War and their next gen Horizon and all these other games that they've got planned. So I'm sure it's gonna be great. Just keep not being the studio that rushes things, but
yeah.
also, don't leave people waiting too long. So they'll be fine.
Yeah, there were rumors that they're working on a Bloodborne 2, but there's also rumors that they're doing a Bloodborne remaster. Like that's why it hasn't been patched. So
Okay.
because it's still like 30 frames on
Yeah.
30 FPS on PS5, and the it chugs really bad, man, on the on PS4. I Pro PS4 Pro stable, but on 4, man, it chugs pretty bad. In certain areas, most of the time it's fine, but it does chug. Um, that would be interesting, like if they do an actual remaster of that game, because that game, up until recently, and now it's like, oh my god, the game is freaking amazing. So, highly recommend like people checking it out if you're up to a challenge, up for a challenge. But yeah, it's good stuff, man. There's plenty. I don't think that we're going to see this. Like, to me, right, the way this sounds, this sounds like a lifetime thing. Like this is
Right.
going to be over the next 6 years. There's going to be 25 first party exclusives. So yeah,
Sounds good to me. I mean,
yeah,
it's
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 plenty.
like they didn't need to throw out any ammunition, but at the same time, they've been in the headlines for hey, when's new stuff. So they've always been known as not always, but at least over these last couple generations, the console that gives you games, right?
Yeah,
So like the company that gives you games.
the
So
first party stuff. Yeah, and
yeah,
now
so it's
they
good.
probably came out and said that not because of that leak saying that Starfield was gonna be like an Xbox exclusive. Again, I don't hold and people love Bethesda games and rightfully so, right? That being said, it's just like they to me it's
Yeah.
I would rather play like DMC6 than Starfield. So,
Yeah.
but that's just me. Um it's gonna be interesting. Like the next 2 years are gonna be really really decisive. Um, Also, by the way, I have a new appreciation, a doubled appreciation for the PS5 because the loading times on Resident Evil 7 on a standard PS4 are atrocious. It's like I'm gonna go make me a sandwich and come back
Well,
so these things can load.
yeah, no, I was like trying to explain to my barber, right? Like, he's talking to him about my PS5 and he's like, "Oh, like tell me like just like basics like, with what's some stuff you love with PS5." I'm like, "No load times. Like you
No,
played Spider-Man PS4, right? On your PS4, you get the little like when you boot it up, you get the little like Spider 3D Spider-Man and on the bottom like it's telling like that's cute, on on PS5 you boot it up and you're right in. So
yeah,
like that there's no way around it. It's incredible.
yeah. I really appreciate it now. Now that I've come back to like PS4 and played.
Game changer.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
It's like when you get a new phone, you just get accustomed to the speed of that new phone.
Yeah, snappy
Oh
and
my gosh,
yeah,
what I do before.
I know exactly. Yeah. It's gonna be really interesting to see what they do. It's gonna be really interesting to see what Xbox does, and Nintendo because they're doing their own thing. They're like, bro, do you see the Amiibo controversy?
No.
No. So, I guess that um, Zelda Skyward Sword, the way that you travel between like the land and the air lands, it's like kind of like convoluted and takes time and whatnot. So they're releasing an amiibo for the game. With the amiibo, you can fast travel, and people are going nuts because that's a quality of life feature, and they're hiding
Yeah.
it behind a paywall.
So you have to buy this.
You have to buy the
Yeah, that's not
amiibo.
cool. That's not cool.
You have to buy the amiibo to fast travel. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna roast them on it entirely because at the same time, like as a business person, I could see be like, this is a good idea, but at the same time,
It's yeah.
the consumers they're not dumb, like they know.
Yeah, it's that one's pretty bad. Even for Nintendo, that one's pretty bad. Uh, last bit of news that I have here, Joel. A franchise that's beloved to me. I used to play back in the PS2 days. Um, it was first person, and I really enjoyed it. TimeSplitters. So the IP's been dormant for a long time. Free Radical, of course. They developed that PS3 game called Haze. Do you remember that game? It was like an orange helmet, dude.
Yeah.
And they filed for bankruptcy after that because that game sucked and no one bought it. So um, they were touting it as a Halo killer, and the game was not even good. So they after that, Crytek um, had the license for the game or the rights to Time Splitters. They were saying that they were gonna do a game. They never did anything with it. When Deep Silver bought it came out. It was when part of THQ or now THQ Nordic bought um, the but the license back from Crytek. I'm not sure where Crytek is right now. Last I heard, they were filing for bankruptcy too, or they filed and they were not doing really well. But the great thing is that the studio is back. Like Free Radical Design as a studio is back with two of its co-founders, and basically Deep Silver is going to be publishing the game, and yeah, it's oh here we go. Yeah, so they purchased the IP in 2018 from Crytek. Um, so yeah, I'm very excited, man. These games were really good. They were a lot of fun back in the PS2 games. I remember having a great time with this game on the third game had a really good online mode. Man, and some weekends I would invite my cousin over and just we would I would just take the modem to the room where I had the PS2 because you know back
Wired
then
in.
there's no Wi-Fi, so I just gotta
Nope.
yank the modem and take it over. So um, and I remember having a great time, dude. Having a literal blast with that game on multiplayer. So much fun. And the games were funny, fast paced. Weapons were good. I'm excited. Like this game to see it come back in like a next gen form. I'm all for it. So yeah,
Yeah, no, look cool, man. Like I was like looking up some stuff with this, like as you bring it up, and I'm like, yeah, this is a pretty good choice.
yeah, yeah. So I'm excited. I just wanted to bring that up because
Oh, sure.
it's a beloved franchise for me. So I really wanted to give it some time. That is basically what we got. I just did a scrub and there's no breaking news. So we are GTG, sir. Let's go ahead and
Dude,
plug us in.
that's always what happens with us, right? Like with no breaking news, and then like we finished recording today, people are listening to it on the weekend, and something crazy
Tomorrow
happens.
we're gonna have the trailer for Spider Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, more than likely.
For real.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, everyone, thank you so much for sticking with us. We want to invite you to stay connected. Please subscribe to our podcast. We're on podcast platforms everywhere: iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify. Look us up, find us, subscribe to our show. You can also subscribe to our video version on our YouTube channel. Make sure you're following us on social media. Right now, if you're watching us on Facebook, thank you for being with us. Continue to follow us on our social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at No Load Time. Thank you all for your patience. I know you all probably missed us last week, and we're glad to be back this week. And look forward to bringing you all some great content. As we said, we're going to be planning out some E3 stuff and beyond. So stick with us, stay connected. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, we'd love to hear from you. You can send an email to us at noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. Thank you all very much, and we look forward to being with you on our next episode.
Thank you guys. We'll see you again next time.